Thank you, Mr. Felix. Thank you, Mr. Diane. Thank you, Diane, for joining in. Thank you, Mr. Bongwa. Thank you, Mr. Bongwa. If you just tune in, just share. We have so many people so that they can join us. I know it's this impromptu broadcast, and if you just join in, just share. So we remember that I am broadcasting live on my Facebook, on my YouTube, and my Twitter account. Either way, you can always get me. And once again, my name is Fonton Daniel. I will be speaking live here from the great state of Texas. If you just tune in, just share, and thank all of you for joining in. Just share.
That you call yours, people can do what has been done to our children in West Cameroon. I call it West Cameroon because you will never take it out of our mouths again, because that is a territory in which we believe freedom to go out on the street and demonstrate is a basic right for us. And that is why we are saying that there are two Cameroons that and told us that one Cameroon who is the water. I'm asking the government bench of Cameroon, who is that you rape our children? My brother's daughter has been raped in Boya. I swear to you, the government of this country, does the president of this country know that the governors and the DOs and all the administrators of yourself in West Cameroon are out there behaving exactly like an army of occupation? Our people have nowhere to go. We have made all the efforts. Our ancestors and our forefathers trusted you to go into a gentleman's agreement that two people who consider themselves brothers could go to live together. And if this is what you show us after 55 years, then those who are saying that we should break Cameroon are right. They are correct. The people of West Cameroon cannot be your slaves. The people of West Cameroon are not. I say no. They beat them and rape some. It is not heard of in any country. This is the 21st century, and anybody who knows that I cannot be willing for his government to pay the price, we will exact it on you. Because you are making us believe that we went to the wrong place. What is there to say? I want the world to know and to have it on record that we have made efforts. I have sat with ministers and listened to them talk. The first one was the then Minister of Justice, Amadou Ali, 10 years ago. And I took my time, drove from Kumo to Yaoundé. Something is brewing out there. This thing were people who choose to come here. He is alive. He told me last week I went to see the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Famingo, and I told him the problems in Cameroon, the problem we have in West Cameroon is the problem that will bring down Cameroon. If you do not handle it well, you will not know Cameroon as it is in a few months or in a few years. When people have had pent-up anger and pain, humiliation for over 50 years, when it bursts out, you will never be able to control it. And I told him, and simply what he asked me was, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire? Because you have your army of occupation out in West Cameroon, you believe that when the people will rise, even if you took the whole of the French army and added to yours, you will never bring them down. And we have no need for that. We don't have any need for that in the 21st century. I was one of the believers in a unified Cameroon. And I want to tell this house that what has happened to those children in Buya University and in Bamenda has convinced me that the people who say Cameroon should go in two parts are correct. And there are more and more of us out there who now believe that it is the ultimate end. I listened the other night an offer of 1,000 jobs, an offer of 2 billion francs for lay schools, and I laughed at myself. Are my people slaves? So you now take them to be your dogs that you can beat and wound and maim, break their bones, then throw a piece of meat for them to fight over. It has to end. If we, the people of West Cameroon, have to continue doing what we are doing, it is because we believe that the more is always the merrier. When you have more people, you have more chances of surviving in life. More people to us that our blood means nothing. From the American we need to think more. Resistance becomes resistance. The people of West Africa are beautiful resist. It's the memory place to and I don't know what it was about. And the forces of law told him, Mr. One of them told when I see the consequences of the warriors of so nobody draws a line before me, and I crossed and I told him, shoot me. I told the SDO, release my people. In 12 hours, he released them. But some are still lying in the hospital. They beat and kicked a woman and she miscarried, a pregnant woman. And nobody can question this. That is the reason in this master plan to finish our culture and our people. You have chosen that every single administrator or every commander of the army is from East Cameroon. That is why they sit there and they can kill the people without remorse. This has to end. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I want to repeat this point. When injustice becomes law, kill to the husband before you kill. And you can stand for me today. 50 years is too long. 50 years is a very long time. I am sorry to tell you that this is part of the resistance. You will hear me to the end. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. It is my duty to defend my people. You will not stop me because of lack of time. Or if you want to, you can call your brutal gendarmes to come and kill me here. I will not. I will not. I want you to hear this, Mr. Speaker, that my people are suffering and that the cube of sugar that was defined in this house, are you just angry, Mr. Speaker? That the person you considered your slave, a slave has risen in the master's house and is asking a question? I have, Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, this is part of my resistance, and you will hear me to the end. Bring the brutal soldiers who ran our government. Telling the President of the Republic knows that the governors and the DOs are behaving exactly when they are posted to West Cameroon as colonial masters. When they abuse people and insult them and do all they have done, we have to resist and we have to tell you our people will not be brought down because we came into this union as equal partners. Yes, sir. And I am done. And I am done. And we will resist. And there is nothing you can do to stop us, because this is part of our culture that we inherited. You people who fear every administrator and every ruler, we challenge our rulers, we take them to task, and that's why they are accountable. Thank you very much.
Mettre sur pied un programme d'urgence de réhabilitation et de mise à niveau de toutes ces formations salariales victimes d'accidents. Et en évoquant cela, monsieur le ministre,
I thank all of you that are joining in, and no problem, no problems. He is, and we want to let La Republique understand that the cube of sugar cannot melt, and the cube of sugar that we were being described shall never melt.
That you call yours, people can do what has been done to our children in West Cameroon. And I call it West Cameroon because you will never take it out of our mouths again, because that is a territory in which we believe freedom. To go out on the street and demonstrate is a basic right for us. And that is why we are saying that there are two Cameroons that came together. If you are telling us, like a state minister stood here last year and told us that what happened in Cameroon is like dropping a few cubes of sugar into a basin of water. Who is the sugar and who is the water? I'm asking the government bench of Cameroon, who is? that you rape our children. My brother's daughter has been raped in Boya. I swear to you, the government of this country, does the president of this country know that the governors and the DOs and all the administrators we have sent to West Cameroon are out there behaving exactly like an army of occupation? Our people have nowhere to go. We have made all the efforts. Our ancestors and our forefathers trusted you to go into a gentleman's agreement that two people who consider themselves brothers could go to live together. And if this is what you will show us after 55 years, then those who are saying that we should break Cameroon are right. They are correct. The people of West Cameroon cannot be your slaves. The people of West Cameroon are not, you did not conquer them in war. If this is what you are saying that we should live in, I say simply no, it will not work. How do you have an army that's supposed to protect children? Step out there.
No, we are out of any two-state federation. We are out of that. No, we are a totally separate nation, and that is what we stand for. I'm ready to echo the message that began.
The wrong place. What is there to say? I want the world to know.
No, we want to move the word state. Two independent countries.
I have sat with ministers and listened
yes,
to them.
we want to remove the word state.
The first one was
we can form a federal state within the Anglophone territory
10 years ago,
under a state. But we cannot live with a republic with a state. No, that is absolutely ridiculous. We cannot.
This thing that people are sending gendarmes to beat people up and say all of these things, there is pain in West Cameroon.
In the next another 56 years, we're going to be assimilated back to square one. We're out of that column.
I'm going to see the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Famino, and I told him the problems in Cameroon, the problem we have in West Cameroon, is the problem that will bring down Cameroon. If you do not handle it well, you will not know Cameroon as it is in a few months or in a few years. When people have had pent-up anger and pain, humiliation, for over 50 years, when it bursts out, you will never be able to control it. And I told him, and simply what he asked me was, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire? Because you have your army of occupation out in West Cameroon, you believe that when the people will rise, even if you took the whole of the French army and added to yours, you will never bring them down. And we have no need for that. We don't have any need for that in the 21st century. I was one of the believers in a unified Cameroon. And I want to tell this house that what has happened to those children in Boya University and in Bamenda has convinced me that the people who say Cameroon should go in two parts are correct. And there are more and more of us out there who now believe that it is the ultimate end. I listened the other night an offer of 1,000 jobs, an offer of 2 billion francs for lead schools, and I laughed at myself. Our people are slaves, so out that we can be it has to end. If we, the people of West Africa, continue Cameroon have proven to us that our blood means nothing. It is time for us to say we will soon become. I want to give you a quote here in this house that can liberate us. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. The people of West Cameroon have a duty to resist your oppression. I call it oppression because
now I want to remove the word state.
3 weeks ago,
the word state make a difference.
Which is a neighboring village to
the word state
where I come from. And
should be taken off from the sentence. But we want the word country. So the word state should be removed completely.
Move into Jacqueline and neighboring village and take away the corporate men. Just beat them up, break their bones, and then just leave them there. And I went to that place where he took these people and I told him, Mr. AGO, you are going to release my people. He sent soldiers to me, and one of them told me, I said, I am the representative of these people because I'm a parliamentarian.
I want to thank all of you this evening that are joining me. And my name again is Fontan Daniel. I am speaking here live. I had a very wonderful trip in Houston on the ongoing plan to my trip to to Federal Republic of Ambazonian, my trip to Boya, the capital. It was a wonderful trip, and during that time, sorry, I wasn't able to watch what he said, but there is issues that is happening in this. No problem. Thank all of you. Thank all of you for tuning in. And if you just join in, just share. Um, uh, I want to first of all thanks the government of this great nation, the United States. I want to thanks for the continual relentless support for the self-realization. I want to thank the government of the United States. I want to thank the government of Donald Trump. I want to thank the U.S. Department of Defense. I want to thank the U.S. State Department, and I want to thank um, U.S. Congress. I want to thank U.S. Senate, and I want to thank all of them to the continued support for the Southern Cameroon or the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. But before I proceed, I want to clarify that point. There is a difference between a state and a country. Those two words cannot be mixed. A state, we are not going to federate with republic, no matter whatever is the confederation or whatever it is. We are not going to confederate. We are not going to form a federal state with the Republic of Cameroon. We are sincerely making this statement clean and clear that confederation or federation, whatever form they call it, Southern Cameroon is now a country. We, the United Nations, which is the body that is physically here in the United States, need to come into reality to understand that the magnitude and the which we stood for, that we here in the United States are firmly, and all of us, the brothers and sisters that are in Europe and elsewhere in this world, that we are firmly stand with our position that the sovereignty of Southern Cameroon is not negotiable. It is a matter of time that the Republic of Cameroon is exercised in our southern territory. It is a matter of time that the Republic of Cameroon, they are planning asking to disburse an 365 million CFA, which is an equivalent to 72,000 US dollars. That is the amount they are planning to cut on gas. What happened to the Legnos gas catastrophe? That is what they are planning. The Republic of Cameroon is planning to use $72,000. 72 of us here in the United States can send the same amount and cause atrocity in the Republic of Cameroon. Southern Cameroon, we are making this. If the Republic of Cameroon misconstrue, believing that we are here to make jokes, if the Republic of Cameroon believes that as we sit here and talk, he thinks we cannot take action, we are ready at this moment. We are asking the Republic of Cameroon to unconditionally leave the Southern Cameroon territory. We don't care how much they got. We're going to sacrifice every single dollars we have. And if they are planning to use $72,000, 72 of us here, not even Europe, here in the United States, can cause atrocity in the Republic of Cameroon. Our people deserve a better way of life. Our people deserve to have a home they call home. The people of Southern Cameroon are not a colonial territory of the Republic of Cameroon. This is clear. The Southern Cameroon is not a colonial territory of the Republic of Cameroon. To continue brutalize, invading our people, we will devote our time and we will sacrifice every dime we have and we will use it. Since we are making this statement and the Republic of Cameroon is taking it as a joke, and we will sacrifice $72,000 that are planning to use chemical in Southern Cameroon. 72 of us can stand instantly and raise that same amount, and we will cause atrocity in the Republic of Cameroon. And this will be done in the Yaoundé capital. But we want the Republic to unconditionally pull its troops out of Southern Cameroon with the immediate effect. We have bypassed the era of joke, laughter, the time of joking, the era of playing for games. The era has come. We don't need United Nations to decide. We are going to use whatever resources, whatever means we have, whatever step we can take. And if La Republique doesn't conditionally pull out of Southern Cameroon, we're going to take the battle to Yaoundé. And when we take the battle to Yaoundé, it's going to be a catastrophic event. We are making this clear as La Republique, because when we make this statement, he thinks we are just joking and that we are not serious about what we can accomplish. And when we choose to take the battle to Yaoundé, it's going to be a catastrophic event. But if La Republique unconditionally pull out of Southern Cameroon territory and immediately disembark out of Southern Cameroon territory, and then we are going to decide not to extend the battle over to Yaoundé. But if La Republique continue to persist and thinking that they have armies, remember, they are planning to use $72,000 to buy chemical they wanted to spray to Southern Cameroon. But we were going to sacrifice that very $72,000. We're going to cause atrocity. And we only 72 of us. 72. We don't need of the 2 million of Southern Cameroon in the diaspora, but 72 of us will raise that very $72,000 that I want to use that chemical and spread in Southern Cameroon. But as a matter of fact, we are sincere and we are asking La Republique to pull out of Southern Cameroon. That is the only precondition to should leave. And we are asking those divisional officers, those in the military uniform that operate under the Republic of Cameroon, anyone with military uniform, because we cannot encourage and sit at home and find our sons, our daughters, our mothers living in infested mosquitoes, driving around in the forest, walking in the bushes, building tents in the forest, while we have our home, and by a neighboring country, the Republic of Cameroon, continue the genocide in our southern Cameroon. We are fully, in this moment that I'm speaking, I am making this clear to the Republic of Cameroon, that era has come and gone, but we are now in a different era. And when we take different phase of our era, and when we move out of this phase, we're going to extend it to the Yaoundé. And when we extend it to Yaoundé, it's going to be a catastrophic event. But we don't want to choose that catastrophic event because the fact that they have their military, they think they have the worst trained army. We doesn't need that. But we are capable to carry on atrocity. But this, whether you take this as a serious matter, it is a matter of time. And if La Republique understand, if La Republique listen, if La Republique understand that Southern Cameroon territory is not a colonial territory of the Republic of Cameroon. And anyone operating under the banner of the Republic of Cameroon in any form of military uniform, in any form of divisional officer, in any form of using hardware in Southern Cameroon, we are giving you one more time to leave Southern Cameroon and leave once and for good. You cannot imagine that we have our parents, we have our brothers, we have our sisters, and they're being slaughtered and burned like eaches. We will use our hard currency. We will use it and we'll use it appropriately. We have to sacrifice it and we will sacrifice it, and La Republique will come down to the greatest level that one will ever witness. It is, you can't sit at home. The fact that we invite the Republic of Cameroon to cohabit or to cohabit relationship has become a nightmare. And our brothers and sisters, our children, our property have been harvested indiscriminately using their military. Remember, 72 of us, the amount they are planning to use, 72 of us in a single phone call will generate that same amount, and we will hit La Republique in very this way. But one thing we have to let La Republique understand that as you get this message, as you work with the military of La Republique, whatever department you are in the Republique du Cameroun, that we are serious about this. We are going to the point where we will not take any answer for that. But the solution is leave the Southern Cameroon territory. It is very, very regrettable that when you sit here, when you call home, every place is roasted. When you call, you see this place is living in chaos. Children, mothers are being discriminately. But we are telling La Republique that era has come. And the moment that we step now, we are in a different mode. And we will operate in different mode. And we will use whatever we have at our disposal. And we're going to crush La Republique and we're going to get them right into their homes. But we give them enough time to choose whether that is what they want, because we are teaming up. We are teaming up. We are teaming up. It is absolutely disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Our nation is a sovereign nation. Our nation has the right to self-defense. Our nations have the right to protect the people, its citizens. Our nations have prerogative to their freedom. Our nations has the right. There are two prerogatives. One asked me this simple question, and whether Biafra and Southern Cameroon has anything in similarity. Absolutely no. The Southern Cameroon and Biafra has nothing in common. There is a great difference between the Biafra and the Southern Cameroon. Just like the people of the Basas, just like the people of the Western province, there is a contrast differences between the people of Southern Cameroon and the people of Biafra. When United Nations granted the independence of Nigeria, when United Nations granted independence of Nigeria, the Biafra was part of the territory that they granted independence. That, in contrast, doesn't mean that they cannot fight for the freedom if they deem it's necessary. The United Nations has obligation. Article of the United Nations respect the wishes of any place choosing for determination. The Constitution of the United Nations allow, or the bylaws of the United Nations allow such emancipation. But the Southern Cameroon case is not part similarity to that of the Biafra. When the Republic of Cameroon was granted independence in 1960, Southern Cameroon was not. And the fact that we are speaking here, British is aware of this. Remember, when United Nations asked the mandate territory to prepare each nation for the immediate independence, for the British knew that the Southern Cameroon cannot join Nigeria. And so the British Parliament, or the British law body, or the British Parliament, they formulate what is known today as the Order of Council. The Order of Council at the British Parliament allowed the Southern Cameroon as a sovereign nation. They recognized that Southern Cameroon cannot join Nigeria. And so they understood this factual well. And so they promulgate the Order of Council. The Order of Council allows Southern Cameroon as a separate nation. And when the Order of Council was instituted by the British, there were three factors that were left out. There were three factors that were left out. First, British retained the Southern Cameroon Defense Force. The British retained the Southern Cameroon Defense Force because they have a prerogative to protect the people of Southern Cameroon. And so the Order of Council allowed the British to control the Department of Defense. The Order of Council allowed Britain to control the finance part of Southern Cameroon. The Order of Council allowed the British to control taxation. If the Order of Council allowed the British to protect the Department of Defense in Southern Cameroon that they didn't have, then it should be the British to immediately and unconditionally station their British troops in Southern Cameroon as this murder and genocide is currently going on. Give me a minute. So, the British Order of Council. The British Order of Council is an important clause that they remain silent. The British Parliament remains silent. The Order of Council allowed the British to control the Southern Cameroon Defense Force. In case of any rivalry, they are out to defend the Southern Cameroon. The Order of Council allowed the British to control taxation. The Order of Council allowed to control finance, despite the fact that there was an efficiency. But the Department of Defense, which Southern Cameroon has never had, and that is why the Republic of Cameroon is using this opportunity and roll in our territory. And the British remain silent. It is in this era that the Southern Cameroon in the diaspora will use every means to reinforce. The Southern Cameroon in the diaspora will use whatever means to reinforce the Order of Council that gave in the Southern Cameroon to use its military and the defense force. And because the British occupied the law of the Order of Council, did not give the opportunity of the Southern Cameroon, and that is why it is easily a free walk by the Republic of Cameroon. But all of us in the diaspora will really fill the gap that Britain is left out. We will sacrifice to reinforce the Order of Council because Britain remains silent. Britain remains ignorant. Britain remains like if nothing is happening. Britain remains why the Republic of Southern Cameroon are being brutally murdered, burned homes, and including people alive. And yet the world community remains silent. It is absolutely absurd that the world community doesn't understand that something is happening. Neither should their media be able to portray this genocide that is currently going in Southern Cameroon. But I have a mission, and our mission is clean and clear, that we will use every available resources that we have at our disposal, and we shall use it judiciously. But we are asking the Republic, pull out your troops, and we will take from there. But a continued persistence, a continued invading, a continued murdering, a continued burning of our homes, and you're going to meet resistance because we are ready. We are ready. We are ready. It is very, very unfortunate that when history are turned upside down, when history are not recorded, when history are ignored, when factual information are deliberately ignored, but we will reinforce, we will reignite, we will use what we have. And remember that the $72,000 that La Republique is planning with their department, with their defense force, to use chemical in Southern Cameroon. And we, 72 of us, can use the same amount and we will carry on the worst destruction in the Republic of Cameroon. Because the era of smiling, the era of joking, the era of just watching has come and gone. But it is a time that we will convert our action into reality. We will convert our action into reality. But we're asking the Republic of Cameroon and those that have been serving and that they keep on moving to the Southern Cameroon territory. It is absolutely disgusting. It is, just imagine our people are living in infested mosquitoes. Our people are living in forests. Of course, when you take the images coming up, especially the one that I post on my Facebook, and you find the Francophones are not even worried about it. It is okay for them. They look at something viciously the Republic of Cameroon is doing, and they accept it. Remember, when Anglophone goes to the French in Paris, they're being used like the enemies. When an Anglophone travel to France, they use you like some kind of a human being. That is not worth reckoning upon. But yet, and despite the fact that the horrible images that have been going on and the genocide that has been going in Southern Cameroon territory, it is okay for the Francophones to see it and ignore. And they are being sent to carry on genocide in our Southern territory. The fact that we were never a conquered territory, we were never a colonial territory. Simply the fact that we asked them that we can live together as brothers and sisters. It has come to them that we are their wives and we are their children, and we can send any army of occupation and carry on any form of genocide. That era has come and gone, and we have determined we will use all our available resources, all of us in the diaspora. It is time you join the back wagon because the vessel is on the move. The vessel is on the move. The vessel is on the move. Why should we become slaves? Why? Why should we become a slave? Why? Your mother, your brothers and sisters are living in the forest. And one asks, who is the Republic of Cameroon, by the way? Who is la Republique du Cameroun? Who are they? They have their own territory. They should be preside over their own territory. And we are asking all the citizens of Southern Cameroon, you have one way. Move back out of the Republic of Cameroon and return home. If you are an Anglophone and you knew that you are Southern Cameroon and you're currently serving in the Republic of Cameroon, it's time to switch immediately. It's time to return home. It's time because the time has come and gone. But we in the diaspora, we will use all the available resources and we will fortify and we will reinforce and we'll use it because the next battle, if La Republique does not listen, if La Republique does not become aware of the reality, they think they have a well-equipped, but I'm sorry, I want to let La Republique know that we are more than the conqueror and that we, the diaspora, we will use our hard currency and we will get to Yaoundé and to wherever day we're going to choose to live. We're going to take the battle to Yaoundé. But they must choose to leave the Southern Cameroon territory. And we are give this as an ultimatum to the Republic of Cameroon that leave Southern Cameroon and move to La Republique. But if we choose to persist, the battle is going to extend to Yaoundé. And we will use our heart this and we will shall come to you. We don't care wherever you are. It is a matter of time. Because we cannot see our mother have been brutally murdered. We cannot see our brothers pick and shot at will. We cannot see our children brought and shoot on the daylight. We cannot see our daughters raped in a broad daylight by the forces of occupation. But it has come to the point that we have fortified ourselves and we are warning. If you are residing in Southern Cameroon, it's time we are giving you. If you are residing in Southern Cameroon and you have a position that is related to the Republic of Cameroon appointment, and that you put on a uniform, that you wear a military hardware, we are asking you one more time, leave the Southern Cameroon and go back to your home, because the time has come. We will use whatever we have. Remember, they're planning to use $72,000 with chemicals in Southern Cameroon. But we, 72 of us, I am not speaking about the millions of Southern Cameroon, but I'm speaking 72 of us. It's going to use the same amount, and it takes us 24 hours to use the same amount against the Republic of Cameroon. We are calling on the United States because we cannot sit in these great nations and we find our brothers and sisters. We cannot sit in these great nations. We find our mothers are being brutally murdered. We cannot sit in these great nations and they remain silent. We cannot sit here and find our people living in the forest. And while we're wondering, who is the Republic of Cameroon in Southern Cameroon, for God's sake? Who is the Republic of Cameroon in Southern Cameroon, for God's sake? We are making this clear to the United States government. We are making this clear to the British government. We are making this to the U.S. Department of Defense. We are making this statement clear to the U.S. the White House. We are making this statement clear because the time for folding our arms and watching our fellow brothers and murder at will has come and gone. But we will must rise. We will must form a block. We will must use all our available resources. And we shall take the Republic of Cameroon. We are calling on the United States government. We are calling on the United States government that we cannot sit here and fold our arms while our people are being slaughtered. We cannot sit here and fold our arms and watch our sons, our brothers and sisters have become brutally by the Republic of Cameroon. We have the right to our self-determination. We have the right to protect even our citizens. When they travel here, they leave the United States. We are not talking about what happened in Europe, but we are talking physically in the United States. Our brothers and sisters, as soon as they leave here and as soon as they arrive, immediately military of occupation began to frustrate our brothers that live here and travel to visit their family. That is where they began to immediately try to question. I was born in Southern Cameroon. I have the right to travel home, and I have the right to visit my brothers. I have the right to live whatever I choose. And the Republic of Cameroon has no question to ask me and how and when I should. When I traveled the last time, my passport was taken by someone that even an honorary first school living certificate he probably didn't obtain. He was probably being signed by the corrupt system. He didn't even pass the exam, because when you watch what he says, it seems illogical. But my passport was taken. He never cared to look whether does I have a visa? Was I capable to come? He never looked into this, but he asked me to go and see the commander. That is the country I am talking about. That is the country I hate. That is the country we must stamp that and reform the Southern Cameroon and have a government that is more responsible according to the Anglo-Saxon way of life. According to the Anglo-Saxon way of life. It is imagine if you haven't experienced it, if you haven't, immediately you arrive. The first thing is your passport is immediately taken, and they ask you to go and see le commissaire. Who in the hell is the commissaire? First, identify whether does the person have a valid visa. We respect if laws have to be respected, but you have to understand that you have to understand whether does the person have a valid visa. That should be a prerogative to even identify whether is he capable. Of course, it could be a machinery, but unfortunately, he took my passport and told me to go and see the commissioner. Who is the commissioner, and who do I have to see him? Why did he even first of all take my passport, even to look into what is the country? That is the country that I am speaking about. That is the country we must discard it, and that we form a country that we can be proud of, a country that is governed by law, a country that has a power, that has a law that must be respected. But before we do that, we need to get the Republic of Cameroon out of our Southern Cameroon territory, because it is a French war system. The French is the war system in African continent. The French system is the worst in African continent. Those who remain silent because they don't want to speak the truth. Why do I have to need someone? Why should I have to call someone? By law, we should be protected. Why should I have to call someone for them to understand that I have a right to freedom? But as we sit here in this great nation, we sit here because someone sacrificed for this nation to become a great nation. And we all must sacrifice and form our nation that our brother will feel safe and that they will feel respected, they will feel protected. And we can do this if we all stand as a one unified entity, as we become love for freedom. When you sit and you stand, when you talk, people think, oh, he is here. He is here. But one can't talk about it. But I want to let the Republic of Cameroon, this message is clean and clear. I am telling all of you that if you don't know your duty, now you need to call and ask, what can you do to free the land that is being massacred? Because all of us have a duty to protect our brothers and sisters. They don't have to be related to us by brothers, by mothers, by any means, but by languages, by birth. We are all born to be free, and we cannot sit and fold our arms and see our brothers are being shot alive. Like in Fundo, when they picked a young guy about 15 years old and they were shot immediately as like it's an animal. When they pick somebody in Manfred, they shot like an animal, and they are still in their prime. They are still in their growth, adulthood. They haven't even reached a maturity. They are still realizing whether who are they that are trying to define themselves. But an evil, brutal government of the Republic of Cameroon that is an invader. And yet, we all remain silent. even in our meeting, even in our rituals, even in our native group, even in our area, we want to fold our arms that we are not going to open your mouth. But it is time to open your mouth and stand for the freedom, because you are in this great nation, because someone somehow sacrificed for you to be here. And if they didn't, you will probably remain in the bushes, probably harvesting in the forest. But someone somehow sacrificed. And that is why this nation became a powerful nation on earth. And you cannot sit and fold your arm because you don't want to talk about it. You want to remain silent. You want to be regarded as the good ones. When there is a meeting call, you want to stay aside. When you see someone, you look as you are frightened. But you are physically here. I am this, I am this, I am this. Someone sacrificed, someone reformed, someone used all means to make these nations to be what it is. It didn't just buy fishes. It didn't drop from sky to become the most powerful nation on earth. Someone somehow sacrificed his life. But you have a duty to sacrifice for the freedom of the place you were born, the place you were called the land of birth. You have the prerogative to do so. You have the prerogative to do so. If all of us stand in 24 hours and make that we are determined, La Republique will be crushed to immediate. We don't need 72 of us can crush La Republique. But with the 2 million and more, all of us around the world, we can do this in 24 hours. And we'll leave a landmark to La Republique to understand that we mean business. It is very regrettable. And then you see they're burning homes, they're slaughtering children, they're slaughtering women. Women are living and having child without and bleed to death. Our mothers are being hit on their face using the how can I describe it? I mean, you see a grandmother are being hit on the forehead and she's bleeding. And one will wondering whether are we in a what era? A country, La Republique, has no prerogative in our land. They have no power to do so. And the people have the right to call to horn La Republique that we have the right to choose so. And this is what we want. And La Republique has the authority to bear what we have said. But yet, they take us for nuisance. La Republique think we are nuisance. But we have a good news to La Republique that it is a matter of time. We have given you to disembark and get out of Southern Cameroon. Because once we decide the battle is not going to end in Southern Cameroon, the battle will be in Etudi. The battle will be in Etudi. I think they believe that they have a specially trained, but unfortunately, we're going to tell you that the fact that we don't have a military, the fact that British remain silent, the fact that we are determined. We will not. This is the era we must free the people of Southern Cameroon. The place we call home. The place we believe we were born. The place we believe that our mother lives. We cannot fold our arms and see how our people are being destroyed. You can't wonder. You begin to wonder. You begin to question yourself. Who is La Republique? Who is La Republique? Who is La Republique? Who is La Republique? Our territory belongs to the sons and daughters, belongs to the children of Southern Cameroon. When you have a useless person called Mesonge, Mofani is, there is one thing I want to make it clear. These people that they are from 70-something years and above, the mentally is deranged. When you see somebody, you think he has some kind of brain and that he has some kind of mentally well-educated person. And this is what he will stand and say, Southern Cameroon shouldn't leave the Republic of Cameroon because the people is going to crumble. Who cares whether they crumble? When Peter Mafani Musonge that we shouldn't leave the Republic of Cameroon, and his analogy and his way of saying that if we leave the Republic of Cameroon, they have no means of survival because we are feeding them. But unfortunately, we have to cut the oxygen. Then the La Republic must bleed to death. That oxygen that we have been implemented, that oxygen that we are carrying and give to the Republic of Cameroon, that they are using to breathe on the expenses of our citizens, and our citizens don't have means to live, and they are breathing on our oxygen, and we are borrowing oxygen somewhere from neighboring Nigeria to breathe. While the Republic of Cameroon is using our oxygen, it's time we cut off the oxygen. All the pipelines that have been lined to send to Douala, get the pipeline off. Get them off. Get the pipeline off. We are borrowing oxygen to breathe in Nigeria, whereas the Republic of Cameroon is living on our oxygen. So it's time we cut the oxygen out. We cut the oxygen from La Republic and let them breathe to death. It's time we cut the oxygen. They are building environment. We are the supplier of their oxygen. We are the supplier of their oxygen. That era has come, and that momentum is now in session. That era has come, and the momentum is now in session. But let La Republic understand that we have rise and we have determined. La Republic have choice to utilize it to immediately and conditionally lead the Southern Cameroon. And our leaders that are currently held by the Republic of Cameroon, our leaders that are currently under jail in the Republic of Cameroon, it is a matter of time. It is a matter of time. Seseko is living in La Republic. Southern Cameroon, they don't need colonial masters. We don't need colonial masters. We have the right to decide what is our destiny, how our land should be structured. Our investment, our property are all controlled and immediately transport to. Just imagine in Southern Cameroon territory, the treasury is in Douala. In Southern Cameroon, custom revenue are paid directly into Douala. Why can they not be paid in Southern Cameroon? Custom revenue are paid into the Republic of Cameroon in Douala, not in Southern Cameroon. The custom revenue in Manfe are being transported by helicopter to the Republic of Cameroon. All Southern Cameroon, not to pay anybody that presents to you any bill of taxation. Any Southern Cameroon, anybody from the Republic of Cameroon present any bill to you that is a taxation, get rid of the person. No more payment of taxation now. No more paying any taxes to the Republic of Cameroon. Anyone that presents himself that is from the taxation department, then you know what to do. You know what to do. No more payment of taxes to the Republic of Cameroon. Remember, United States make it clear to Great Britain that no taxation without a representative. That was what the United States stood for. No taxation without representative. And today, United States is free. Why should we be paying taxes to the Republic of Cameroon? And they are carrying development in the Republic of Cameroon. Why our citizens are living in a crumb of bread? Oil have been drained to the Republic of Cameroon. Why are people living in a crumb of gas? No taxation without a representative. That was the message. Make it clear to the people of Great Britain. If the United States make it clear to Britain that no representative without, no taxation without representative. That was the motto. That was what the United States stood for the people of Great Britain. And today they are one of the most prosperous nations on earth. They are most the wealthiest nation on earth. They are most the richest nation on earth. They are more well equipped on earth because of the genocide they experienced. And so the people of Southern Cameroon, we must stand together because we are capable to dismantle La Republic, and no taxation, no payment any to the Republic of Cameroon foreign notice. No payment, no payment. And anyone that's come to your door and tell you that he's from the Republic of Cameroon, from the taxation department, get rid of, tell our boys we are available. We are available. Yes. If the United States stood for no taxation without a representative, our people, they have no voice. They are being controlled by an idiot, the French. Our homes are burnt like insects that spread like vagabonds. But we have come to that terms that we must fortify ourselves. We in the diaspora, we're going to show La Republic that we are here. We are breathing the natural air, and that we're going to use whatever means we have, and we're going to do whatever we can. But we have one more time to lead the Southern Cameroon. Otherwise, when we extend the battle, it's going to be drastic and it's going to be difficult. But we are giving La Republic one more time to surrender and pull out of Southern Cameroon. Because when we voice our concern, they don't listen. They don't pay attention. But I am still repeating the Republic of Cameroon that we are here. We have determined. We in the diaspora have determined, and that if you don't lead the Southern Cameroon territory, the final battle will be fought in Yaoundé, in Etudi. That is where the battle will be fought. Maybe you believe you have all the available resources, but unfortunately, that resources will going to crumble. I want to thank all of you that have tuned in this evening. I want to thank you for tuning in this evening. And that if you have a role, but you need to ask, what role can you play? Because you have a duty and you live in a diaspora. You live in a diaspora, you understand, and you know you can have a role to play. You just need to extend your hand of welcome. And that what role can I play? Because we have come to the term that the Southern Cameroon must be free. Must be free indeed. Must be free. We cannot sit and find our brothers and sisters are being burnt alive. And they're using gas and rose homes and burn people alive. And yet we feel that we don't have a duty, a prerogative to do so. That is the point. But we have come to the conclusion that the final battle will be in Etudi. If they don't listen, if they don't pay attention, if they don't move out of Southern Cameroon territory, if they don't move, I mean, it's very regrettable. It is very regrettable. It is very regrettable. When you invite someone, come, let's stay together. Imagine you met a girlfriend, you met a girl, and say, okay, let's stay together. The fact that you ask the girl that come, let's stay together, that doesn't make you husband and wife. The fact that you request a girl to come and live with you, that doesn't make both of you husband and wife. Both of you must get the matrimony. And that matrimony is the United Nations that remains silent office. That's the body that's supposed to sign our matrimony, that we are legally husband and wife. And remember that husband and wife, they have a prerogative to divorce. They have a choice if the marriage is no longer functional. they have the right to separate. Even here in the United States, people can marry and people can divorce, people can separate, and that is the law. Southern Cameroon is not exception. Southern Cameroon has the right to say, okay, that wedding we need to call off because first of all, there was no marriage signed in the first place. There was no wedding that was signed in the first place. Why should our brothers and sisters have been murdered, claiming that they were married? Which court signed the wedding? The wedding? Which court? That Southern Cameroon got married to the Republic of Cameroon. When was the marriage ceremony took place? When you see people with destroyed mind, United Nations is the office that the wedding was supposed to be signed. And ask United Nations whether they have any wedding certificate that they issued to the Republic of Cameroon for the Southern Cameroon. There is no wedding certificate. And so the people have the right. The fact that we ask someone, come and stay together, does not give you a legal marriage. And that you can do whatever you think. You have the right to freedom to separate. That is recognized by law. Fellow Ambazonian, fellow Southern Cameroon, you have a duty. You have a duty to join the momentum. Ask what role can you play? Because we are in a fast train and the train is heading to you either join the train or you left out. But the time has come that we must be on the same train as we're heading towards the right direction to free our people from slavery. I want to thank all of you. Good night. Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Thank you, Mr. Diane. Thank you, Diane, for joining in. Thank you, Mr. Bonwa. So many people so that they can join us. I know it's just impromptu